Welcome back to the show. I've got Brian Deane and Mark Halsey with me, former Premier League player and referee respectively. And now is our opportunity to look ahead to the new season, of course, the Football League and the Premier League. But in Premier League terms, let's look at the select group of referees that have been assigned for this season. Not much in terms of changes. We'll go into the detail of the change in a moment, but as a select group, do you think it's a good select group? There was a lot of criticism for referees last season.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as strong as it can be. It's not as strong as it has been. I think we've got about 4 or 5 referees that are right up there. You know, it's like the Premier League. It's like a list within a list. You can only appoint. The problem I have is that we can only appoint 4 or 5 referees to the top games. The other referees that have been on a number of years, the actual PGML do not trust them referees with them games because they won't be able to handle them. So if you're looking at that from that aspect, can we have any better ones on there? Are we the best in Europe? I would say we're not the best in Europe at the moment. We used to be, but as I say, we're not the best. I mean, I'm looking at Mike Deane, Mark Clattenburg, Martin Atkinson. I thought had an outstanding second half of the season. I thought he struggled with his fitness first half of the season, made him, as we spoke earlier, not being fit, not in the right position, not getting the right viewing angles. And he sorted out. He sorted his nutrition out. He's back on top. He's banging form, and I thought he had a terrific second half of the season, and obviously rewarded with the Europa League final. But to say we've got Mark Clattenburg, I think he's way out there, number 1 with Mike Deane, Martin Atkinson. I think Andre Mariner can do better. He's a better referee, and I think he showed he had last season. So I think there is room for improvement with the guys below. Those fellas. Obviously, we've lost Chris Foy, he's retired. Phil Dowd hasn't passed his fitness test yet, but I would imagine he would take it in a not too distant future. And as I say, he's getting older, and we need to replace these guys. And as I say, there's a few there. Progression planning. Where's our next FIFA referee coming from? I mean, we're going to talk a bit later on about certain personnel, but we need to bring more youngsters. The likes of Andrew Madley, Paul Tierney, Steve Martin into that fold, So,
what about you, Brian? Did you notice the refereeing last season wasn't as good as it should have been?
I think, like Mark said, I think towards the end of the season, I felt that the refereeing got better. I think there was a big deal made about the fitness of referees, and I think a lot more of them are taking it on board now.
I think, as Brian quite rightly says, towards the end of the season, the refereeing, it did improve, and I think that's because Howard Webb took on a new role in the coaching area. But now we know Howard's resigned because he couldn't work with certain management, so he's resigned and gone to pastures new. So we've now got Kieran Barrett back in charge of the referees, and just throw the balls up and see what comes down, and we'll wait and see. Hopefully we're going to have a good season.
The new arrival in the select group, Graham Scott, 47 years of age. Yeah. He's a very established Football League referee.
Yeah, I mean, and he is a very good referee. But as Brian would tell you, that step up from the Football League into the Premier League is massive for referees, as it is for players, and it takes a good number of years to get yourself established. And as I said before, I'm looking at Graham, 47 years, no disrespect to Graham, but he's 47. We've got...
The average age is 43 now.
But you've got Andrew Madley, had a great season, had a great playoff final with, was it Preston and Swindon? Was it Preston in the League One playoff final? He had a super game, had a good season, young referee. You've got Paul Tierney, had a good season. We had Steve Martin, who had another very good season, all in their early 30s.
So why aren't they coming through?
Well, why are we not promoting them? Why are we putting a 47-year-old onto the list where it's getting quicker and quicker and quicker each year? Let's pull them in. Let's put them into the select group. Let's go to the meetings. Let's like you do as a young player, as a manager in Norway, Brian. You'd put a young player in. You'd pull him out. You'd give them the right games, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the quicker you get these young referees into the Premier League, give them an idea of what the melting pot's like, and it's all experience they can build on. No disrespect, like you said. I mean, I'm 47. And I've been retired 9 years, So, and I don't mean that to disrespect him at all, but I think you've got to look forward rather than back.
And it's progression planning. You know, as I said before, where's our next FIFA referee coming from? Because at the moment, you know, Robert Madley, he's not good enough at the moment just to make that step up into the UEFA ranks.
On You Are the Ref website, Jason Pettigrove has suggested an interesting implementation that could happen: a referee Super League across Europe, i.e. Mark Clattenburg would referee in the Premier League one week, would be in La Liga the next, the Bundesliga the next, and also someone like Bjorn Kuipers would come here and referee. Nicola Rizzoli from Italy would also come here.
Can I tell you something? This is true. This, I mean, like I say, I've been in Norway for 2 years, and you know, I played hell with a lot of the referees because I didn't think that a lot of them were up to the standard. And they did an exchange with the Irish FA, and we had a referee come over from Ireland, and he was probably the best referee we had. And I don't know if it was because he was a far superior referee, but I actually think that that's a fantastic idea. You know, to bring in almost like, you shouldn't say celebrity referees, but these guys are right at the top of their profession.
So that would have meant you in your day. Would you have wanted to referee in the Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A?
Yeah, I would have done, and I'd love to have gone to Scotland and referee the Celtic Rangers game. You know, it would have been fantastic. You know, and I think Brian's right. I mean, they don't do exchanges in this country because I think they feel that perhaps some of the referees are not good enough to step up into the Premier League.
But these guys we're talking about are all UEFA Champions League referees.
So I mean, the league guys, yeah. I mean, it's all about now. It's not a sport anymore. It's a massive business. So I can see the day coming where referees, the top leagues want the best referees, and I wouldn't say that our Premier League has got the best referees at the moment. You know, we used to be renowned as the best in Europe, but at this moment in time, we're not.
But I actually think that would improve the standard of refereeing as well. You know, because it's like anything, you're going from somewhere else, you're picking up new experiences, you're bringing it back, and it's the same for them.
It is, and it's about adapting your style, because in the Premier League you referee totally different to what cultural differences. You referee totally different in the Premier League to what you do in FIFA and the Champions League and the Europa League.
What about referees? You almost alluded to it there. Referees working in a country exclusively. Let's say an English referee decides to go and become a Bundesliga referee.
Problem you've got there is the language.
Well, but the number one, no, it's not for me, because if you look at all the players, Brian, all the players speak English, and the FIFA, the language you have to speak is English. All the referees in FIFA have to speak English.
But if you bring a German referee over here whose English isn't fantastic, or a Spanish referee, for example, and there's a communication issue, that's why I don't think for a season you can do that, but I think you can bring in the elite referees who are used to refereeing in the Europa Cup, in the Champions League, and do it that way and build from the top down.
It would be those same referees that referee in the Champions League anyway, because they're the top referees. So they all speak English. They all speak good English, very good English. So you know, all these referees referee the Champions League games anyway. So I don't think the language would be a problem.
Do you think it would happen? Just quickly, do you think it could happen?
It could happen, yeah, because the top leagues around the world want the best referees.
Right, before we go, I want to get your predictions on the new season. Brian, I'll come to you first. Premier League winners and the top four, what do you think?
I think you won't get much changes from the four that we have. Yeah. I think if you look at Chelsea, they've got a pretty much established squad now. You know, they've tried to make a couple of additions, which I think means that he's happy generally. He just wants a little bit of tweaking. He feels perhaps that, you know, they just need a little bit more to lift the quality within the group. I think Manchester United, they've got a fantastic squad. They've got a top manager, but how quickly will some of those players gel? I mean, people have said, you know, Bastian Schweinsteiger, what a fantastic addition. For me, you know, Bastian Schweinsteiger 5 years ago would have been a fantastic addition. And for me, it's the same with Ramos. You know, the league here, the pace of the game is different, you know, and adapting to that. So I would go along with perhaps Arsenal getting stronger, Chelsea, Arsenal. I think Manchester City are still But I
Would
think
Chelsea
those
be your
four-
would Chelsea be your pick? to win it again?
Chelsea and Arsenal.
Yeah.
Chelsea and Arsenal.
Yeah,
Quickly,
I'm
sorry.
absolutely. I agree with Brian. I think Arsenal may have a great chance this season. I think the reason being is Peter Cech. They've been missing a goalkeeper for many years, and Arsenal's gone in and he's done that. And I think if he strengthens his back four with a centre half, I'm not sure about Mertesacker. He looks a bit weak, doesn't he? I think, and perhaps a striker. But going on to Chelsea, I think if Costa's out injured again, I think they could struggle for goals. But same.
So a former Chelsea player could deny them the title in your view.
Could be, yeah.
Well, that's it from us this week. My thanks to Brian and to Mark. Alan Biggs returns next week, and he'll be taking a close look at the opening weekend of the Premier League season. We'll see you soon.